Why are you clapping?
That's how I wanted it. It's supposed to start with a bang, and then you go, because that's the intro.
Alright, well, there you go.
You cannot start with a bang on YouTube.
You robbed yourself a great intro.
Well, the intro's gonna stay, because I don't feel like editing this. Good. Anyways, so... Alright, everybody, Jake here, and with me is another good friend of mine, Dave Wright. He's been in a previous podcast of mine, and then newcomer to the channel is another friend of mine, Richard Graham. And this time we'll be talking about what everyone's favorite show is, Dragon Ball Z.
You have to call me Reverend, by the way.
Reverend, yeah.
Recently ordained.
Yeah.
You're such
Richard Graham?
Stupid idiot.
I'm actually legally allowed to use that title.
Shut up.
I've seen the paperwork.
Anyways.
I brought it with me.
Dragon Ball Z. I think if anyone, like most people who grew up in like the late 80s to early 90s, was pretty obsessed with Dragon Ball Z and how truly amazing it was and still is to this day.
It was my childhood.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And Star Wars.
I mean, and Gundam.
And Gundam. More Dragon Ball Z. Like, that's just, I've kind of based my entire life on, Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure all of us and everyone who's listening at some point tried to use the Kamehameha wave. Or some kind of energy blast.
I still try to this day.
If you haven't, you haven't lived.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta check every now and then, who knows, maybe one day you're gonna wake up and you're like, I haven't tried the Kamehameha wave out in a couple days, I'll give it a go. Next thing you know, you blow up your apartment or you blow up your car or house or whatever. Yeah, if you believe.
As Goku said, if there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly. So I think, I don't know, Richard, you're kind of the expert on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
I'll let you start this off with thoughts, feelings, emotions, anything you'd like to contribute.
Well, I still haven't seen Battle of Gods.
Yeah, neither have I. I've been meaning to, but I haven't done that yet.
I will say, contrary to what most anime fans nowadays are expected to believe, I strongly prefer the English dub of Dragon Ball Z.
I've never watched any of the Japanese
Goku's
versions.
Goku was voiced by a woman, which made sense in Dragon Ball. It made sense, but they didn't change his voiceover when he grew up. So
that was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't change my voice actor over either. So.
And when Vegeta grew into the giant ape, his voice didn't change. So it was just this giant monkey monster, King Kong, talking like a regular Japanese guy.
That sounds better.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I think, with me, I think, when I first started watching it, I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember I didn't really care for it, but in my defense, I was young, and I think I just started watching it, I just saw, bits and pieces of it, so I was like, I don't like this show, I don't know what's going on.
When you first started watching it, you were probably watching the Ocean dub. When everyone sounded all...
Yeah.
They were all Canadians, they kept talking about going to the next dimension, and all that. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, they wouldn't talk about killing each other. It was
very
polite.
Yeah, because I remember...
Let's grab a Molson after.
At one point... Yeah, at one point...
Home for Infinite Research.
At one point in the Frieza saga, I remember that's when, they changed all the voices. And, at first I thought, I don't know, I was just like, oh, maybe there's just something wrong with the volumes. I kept trying to, mess with, the volume. I was like, why do they change the people's voices, in the middle of nowhere?
It grew very fast.
Yeah. And I think it actually did, really benefit the show. Because, Vegeta and, the first version they aired, he's just kind of sounded like your typical, 80s, early 90s villain. Yeah. It's like, I'll get you, Kakarot!
He even said stuff about, I'm evil and stuff. No one says, hey, I'm evil.
Yeah, it was...
Unless it's, meant for 5-year-olds.
Unless they're really evil?
Yeah.
Or, if it's, Power Rangers.
Yeah, Power Rangers. But yeah, and then, Piccolo's original voice wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But I do think the guy that did the voice of, the entire cast, pretty much.
Chris Abbott.
Yeah, he's the guy that did the voice of, Piccolo, Vegeta,
Yamcha, Yajirobe.
Basically, everybody except for, Goku and a handful of other people. But yeah, I think he was, the perfect, he was able to, I don't know, make Vegeta sound more badass.
Yeah.
And same thing with Piccolo.
He brought more anti-hero to both of them,
yeah,
really.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, Goku's awesome, but, I always really like Vegeta and Piccolo more, just because they're kind of the anti-heroes.
Yeah, I think maybe the best fight in the whole series was definitely the highlight of the Majin Buu saga.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, they're Super Saiyan.
Oh, yeah.
I wish it
Vegeta.
would have actually had a conclusion, though. Cause
Yeah.
Yeah. It was still, a little open-ended. But yeah, that was definitely, one of the coolest, most anticipated moments. Because, it was really cool when they fought in, the Saiyan Saga.
They're so much stronger.
Yeah, but then it's like, again, they're both at their peaks. They're both, Super Saiyan 2 at that point. And they were both just like, all right, we're not holding back. We're gonna do this.
Of course, you find out right after that Goku was holding back.
Yeah.
He was Super Saiyan 3.
Akira Toriyama did openly admit that he did not plan very far ahead. So he might have just came up with Super Saiyan 3 on the spot right after that.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was...
Wasn't he kind of want to ruin the show at that point? He was kind of tired of doing it.
Yeah, there's rumors saying that, like...
But then he sort of,
see that.
You can
like halfway through, he was like, you know what?
I still like the Buu Saga, but you can definitely see where he's I'm going to make this as goofy as I possibly can, and see if people still watch it. Yeah. And people did watch it.
Yeah.
And then he finally said, okay, I'm done, and then they made GT.
Yeah. I mean, GT had its moments, but...
I liked the design of Super Saiyan 4.
Super Saiyan 4 is cool.
I like that, GT felt like at the beginning was trying to get back to their Dragon Ball roots. Where they were like, okay, let's just hunt for Dragon Balls, but instead...
It was sort of weird he was a kid again.
Yeah, and they literally tried to get back to Dragon Ball with that.
But going on adventures with, like, his grandchildren?
Yeah.
I just feel like
And they find a robot.
I think the concept of GT wasn't actually that bad. It was the way they execute. Yeah, the execution.
Really,
the execution was poorly done.
I didn't hate GT much
until
after the Baby Saga.
Oh yeah, that was just rehashed like Cell Buu.
Yeah.
It was way too...
The evil dragons and stuff.
That was kind of cool.
It was on and off with the evil dragons. Android Super 17 looked cool, but there was really no substance to it.
No, it was just kind of like filler. They were like, okay, well...
Just sell the toys.
Yeah. I think my favorite season was the Frieza Saga.
Oh, yeah.
That was just like... I mean, aside from like when Goku first becomes Super Saiyan, like that, I think everyone hands down will say that's
no
like the
moment
scene.
in the series topped that for me.
No, not at all. I mean, like again, Super Saiyan 2 and 3 were really cool, but it was one of those things where you kind of know it's like, okay, he's going to reach a higher level.
Oh yeah.
And I guess there were like the little subtle hints and allusions that he was going to become Super Saiyan in the earlier episodes.
But we didn't know what a Super Saiyan was. We kept hearing Vegeta talk about this Super Saiyan thing, and it's like, I'm a Super Saiyan, he's a Super Saiyan. Well, what's a Super Saiyan?
Yeah, and then sure enough, when Krillin dies again, Goku just like, that's when it happens, and as a kid, you just get like goosebumps. You're like, oh my god, my life is complete. I've witnessed the greatest thing to ever come to mankind.
Yeah, because you've never seen anything like that before. And then you watch G Gundam and play a Sonic game, and you see it again.
Yeah.
But that was the original.
Yeah.
But again, aside from that moment when he first becomes Super Saiyan, I think my all-time favorite moment though was when he's fighting Frieza and just like grabs him by like the collar of his neck and just starts like bitch slapping him. He's like, I'm gonna slap some sense into you, and just starts slapping him. It's like that's the moment when it's like, okay, this fight is over. Frieza can keep trying to fight, but once you've been bitch slapped in a fight, you're done. You've won that fight.
I think my favorite moment of that fight, and this kind of contradicts what I said earlier, but I like the Japanese dialogue sometimes better, but not the actual voices.
Yeah.
But in the Japanese version where he gives that whole speech like, I am blah blah.
Yeah.
At the end of it, he says, I am Son Goku, the Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
He just like says it to his face. This is what you've been afraid of.
Mm-hmm. That is actually more badass.
Yeah.
Dave, what's your favorite moment from the whole series in general? Whether you want to break it down to like a season or like an episode or something like that.
I don't know. There's too many. I feel like you guys covered the Frieza saga already. I always like the Cell saga a lot too.
Yeah, Cell saga was really good too.
That seems to be a big favorite.
Yeah,
really. I would say those two definitely were highlights for me. But I don't know. The whole show is just great. There's some filler, but the whole show is just going from great moment to great moment with lots of build up and very macho dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of screaming, but
I mean, if you've ever gone Super Saiyan before, which me and Richard have.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you're just standing there, like, screaming and, like, flexing, it does take its toll. Like, I was really hungry after I went Super Saiyan 3 that one time in high school.
That's why Saiyans have to eat so much.
Hopefully that video's still not on YouTube.
Well, it's got to be somewhere.
Yeah, I could probably find it.
Go look it up.
Don't do it.
I'll find it.
First one who finds it wins the later, still to be determined prize.
We won't actually give it out.
Yeah.
Don't say that, then they won't look it up.
You'll get acknowledged, maybe.
No,
You won't.
probably not.
You won't. Nothing will happen. You'll just waste time scouring the YouTube and interwebs for a video of me going Super Saiyan 3.
It's called the internet.
Is that what you kids call it nowadays?
It's always been the internet.
Oh,
Why would it be a net?
I don't know. But anyways, but yeah, I did really like the Cell Saga. Mostly like when, because that was kind of like Gohan's moment.
When he finally...
Then
passing of the torch.
Yeah.
I mean, that didn't really happen. But
yeah. But it was really cool, though, like...
carry through.
Like, the very last fight, like, he gets his arm broken or, like, whatever. And then, use the Kamehameha with one hand and just blows Cell up. I was like, that's pretty awesome. And you see, like, I guess, like, Phantom Goku behind him, both of them using the Kamehameha wave. Yeah. It's like...
But that also pissed me off going into Majin Buu Saga, how lame Goku or Gohan became.
Yeah, after his extreme, like, badass killing the most powerful...
Being the most powerful
bad guy. Yeah.
Which, I mean...
Then he pussies down 8 years later.
I kind of get that, though, in the sense that, like, okay, once you've defeated the most powerful person ever, because, again, they didn't know, like, they assumed Cell would be the last of it. It's like, what initiative do you have to,
Which, actually, saying Cell was the last of it brings up a good point.
What's that?
Where was Majin Buu in Trunks' future?
That is a good point. Like, you would think those would, like,
Cause it's
interlap at some point?
Yeah, because Trunks is 20 years in the future, and Majin Buu was, like, 8 years after... Maybe...
No, I think it's about
11,
10?
Yeah,
something
10 or 11 years after that.
So I think it was, like, 8 years after Cell, like, when, Gohan's in school and you kind of...
Yeah, and that was
see that little boring...
And that was 3 years after Trunks first arrived, so...
Yeah. Someone do the math. I'm terrible at math. I only knew like 2 plus 2.
That's like 11,
about it.
But
I know 7 plus 1. It's 8.
Yeah, we're decent at math for 5-year-olds. But yeah, like that. Yeah, that is a good point. Where was? And again, I'm sure they didn't even think of that. They're like, who cares?
No, they had to have some big new bad guy.
Yeah, he had planned to end the series after Cell. So.
Yeah. Which, again, that would have been a perfect way to end it. Yeah. But I
still like
it. It also would have been a perfect way to end it right after Frieza.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad they did.
I'm glad they did.
Because, again, like, I do like that, that was his original intention, but then it was like, okay, I think I can work a bit more with this.
And then he was just like, okay, I'm getting death threats.
Yeah.
I'll make a little more.
Yeah. Then it's like, by
the cash flowing.
Yeah. And then, like, by the Buu Saga, you can tell that he kind of half-assed it a little bit at times. But again, still overall, really good season. But
I like Fusion.
Yeah, the Fusion was cool. But I don't know. I'd still kind of wish that, like, throughout the entire series they had kept, like, Vegeta and Piccolo and everybody else, like, more on par with Goku. I mean, like, Vegeta was, just a little bit behind Goku the whole time.
Well, Gohan, supposedly, when he went, what they call Mystic or Ultimate Gohan, was supposed to be the strongest, but then he was just...
He couldn't even go Super Saiyan anymore.
Well, he didn't need to. That's how it kind of worked, because Transforming uses up energy or whatever, and Elder Kai just unlocked all of his potential in his base form.
Which, I mean, he was able to beat Buu, but, like, then Buu, like, outsmarted him. Because I think at that point he absorbed Piccolo, didn't he?
And Gotenks.
Or was that after?
No, he absorbed Gotenks. He fought, he absorbed Piccolo, then Gotenks, and he fought Gohan with Gotenks absorbed.
Okay. But yeah, because I know, like, the main reason he wanted to absorb Piccolo is because Piccolo was always, like, one of the smartest, fighters. Like, he didn't, let's be honest, Goku was pretty stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he didn't really use strategy at all. He was just kind of like, I'm gonna fight him! And just, powered up and went at it.
If you consider any of GT canon, he barely knew how to count by then.
Yeah. And then, Vegeta, I think, was smarter, but it was just the fact that he was really cocky and arrogant was kind of his downfall in every since.
He was dead at the time, too.
Yeah. But,
he
even
could have
still.
beaten Cell.
Yeah.
Back then when he had Trunks.
And again, that was another thing that I liked about the Cell saga is, Piccolo.
Piccolo
even could have. Piccolo could have even killed Cell's first form, but
he
then
almost did. And Tien even almost beat Cell's second.
Yeah,
he actually didn't have any chance of killing Cell, but Tien tri-beamed the fuck out of him.
It definitely looked like it hurt.
Well, he held him off. I think someone else was doing something important.
Yeah, I don't know if he wouldn't have beaten him.
No.
But
he seemed a lot more. They seemed a bit more on equal ground.
But
Goku,
a while back, me and some coworkers probably had a half-hour conversation on the clock at work.
Best time to do it.
Yeah,
happened to me once.
This was I don't know, early in the morning or something like that, and there were no customers. But basically, I don't know, there's 3 or 4, maybe 5 of us talking about Dragon Ball Z and stuff. And, someone was just kind of he was less useless, Tien was useless. Well, hold on. It's he had his moments, he came in out of nowhere every now and then, in Cell, kept the second form at bay, just shows up out of nowhere. It's oh, hey guys, I'm gonna keep him at bay, you do your thing.
I'm a character too.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna try not and die. And then, in the Boo saga, just, again, shows up out of nowhere, drop kicks Boo, and it's alright, I'm done. I'm gonna get out of here again before I die.
No, you know who the most useless character is?
Chaozu, or Yamcha.
Yamcha has never won a fight.
That is true.
Except once.
That was when he sucker punched Chi-Chi.
Yeah, when he sucker punched a little girl.
Yeah.
That was the only time Yamcha won a fight.
Yeah. And, Chaozu was useless after Dragon Ball when he got beat by, Krillin. I mean, I do like that, Krillin, I like him more than other people. He served his purpose.
He served his purpose by dying.
Well, yeah, but, that was still his thing. His thing was to die to motivate Goku, because...
He did it twice, actually.
Yeah.
He did it. That's what he did in the King Piccolo saga.
Yeah. But, that was his duty. Was to...
He did it well.
Yeah. He did it far too well.
He died again in the Boo saga, too.
Yeah, and then if you count GT, he died again.
Yeah.
So...
Also, another weird thing about the Boo saga, he grew hair.
Yeah. Well, he said that he used to wax his hair, and then he stopped, so...
Yeah,
it's just a random point to decide to grow your hair.
What? I don't know. It might have been one of those things just to show age progression.
He stopped being a monk and stuff.
Or that he married Android
18. Yeah.
He was done with fighting.
Which you might as well.
Living a domestic life.
He still lasted longer than Yamcha though. I think Yamcha gave up fighting by after he got his
after he got impaled by an android.
Yeah, I think after that moment it's I'm done. I can't do anything anymore.
Once they wished me back.
He even showed up at the Cell ring, and he was like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not even going to
train.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try.
You guys take an extra day in Hyperbolic Time Chamber?
Yeah. But yes, he was...
I don't need it.
Even in Dragon Ball, he wasn't that useful. He was the character that, anytime they go to the martial arts tournament, it's okay, Yamcha's...
He always lost in the first round.
Yeah. He'd always make it to, the semifinals, and you're okay, Yamcha's pretty strong at this point, not as strong as, Goku.
No, Yamcha would lose the first round of every one.
Yeah.
Really.
Because first he lost to Jackie Chun.
Yeah.
Because you're I'm pretty sure that's Master Roshi, but let's see how strong Master Roshi really is. The second time is when he fought Tien, which, that was pretty cool, because he, broke Yamcha's leg pretty easily. And then, I don't even... Did he fight in the last tournament in Dragon Ball?
I think so.
Who'd he lose to?
Probably Piccolo.
Or no, I don't even... No, I think he got knocked out before the semifinals in that tournament. So Krillin was the one who fought Piccolo and got knocked out.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, I should know this because I rewatched Dragon Ball recently. But yeah, again, Yamcha, not really an accomplished fighter at all. So, for those of you who hate, Krillin, just look at, Yamcha's track record. He might not have died as many times, but... He was still far, far more useless. And then, really excited that they're making 200 more episodes at some point in the near future.
I don't know if that's confirmed.
I heard it was. I don't know if it is.
I thought it was, but
there's nothing about it on Wikipedia, so...
Which is the be-all, end-all.
Well, that is a good point, though.
Usually if something like that gains enough,
following.
Yeah, or enough, someone will investigate it, and if there's any truth to it, it'll be on there, but there's no mention of it on Wikipedia.
I heard it a lot, shortly after Battle of the Gods came out, because it was, so successful that I guess Akira Toriyama was, like after enough time of not working with Dragon Ball Z, I guess was re-inspired to, wasn't so burnt out. It's like, okay, I'm going to jump back in here, maybe do something. But I do think that would be really cool, even if it wasn't like a major series, like even if it's just like little mini stories of some of the other characters.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be kind of cool to like see what some of the other characters did in between, like sagas, like what Piccolo does, or Tien, or, the cooler, lesser characters.
Yeah, we'll focus on Piccolo.
That would be what you would call an OVA.
Or yeah, like, yeah. But, preferably like like more of a mini-series, like do, I don't know, 10 episodes per character, or depending on how interesting the character is. Like, no one wants to see an episode based on Chaozu, because...
I do.
Okay, aside from Dave, no one wants to see an episode based on Chaozu.
Yamcha gets one episode.
Yamcha gets one episode where he gets his ass kicked again.
Chaozu gets like half an episode. He has to share with Poir.
Yeah. Maybe Master Roshi, or like maybe Master Roshi back in his old days when
Master
he was,
Roshi, you could do a whole mini series about
like
Master Roshi.
200 years ago it was, I think, or 300.
No, I think he's like 300 years. Yeah.
Or just about him perving it up on the island.
Yeah. It could be a part of the same thing.
Yeah, you could easily do like, okay, here's his origin story or whatever, and then here's he is now a bold, pervy old man who lives on an island with a turtle and
a schizophrenic woman.
Yeah, schizophrenic woman. But yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah.
I think she was in like maybe.
Never heard of.
She was in one filler scene in Dragon Ball Z where she was seen at a bar after Tien died, and that's it. She was gone. Like
I could have sworn she was in like one other episode, like later on in the series.
In the Boo saga, she was one of the many people you see raising their hands up.
Okay,
to
yeah.
Mom
and you're kind of like, oh, I remember all these characters that were in Dragon Ball for a little bit, and then
They've been gone for years.
Yeah. Because again, they outlived their purpose.
She was the first Super Saiyan.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
She would sneeze, her hair would turn blonde, her eyes would turn green.
She was a bit more aggressive and stronger.
She was a lot more aggressive and a lot stronger.
Usually ended up shooting someone multiple times, and they lived somehow. But yeah, that's kind of like what I would like to see with any kind of Dragon Ball Z continuation, is whether it's like a major series, like another saga, or whatever, or even if it's just like little mini-series of certain characters. That's kind of what I would like to see.
Well, we do seem to be getting a lot of one-shot type things lately, like the Bardock thing.
Yeah.
Episode of
I still
Bardock.
want to check that out.
It's alright. I mean, it
wasn't as good as the Bardock movie.
There is no real plot to it.
Not really.
I think the abridged one is a hell of a lot better, too.
Yeah, definitely check out Team 4-Star Abridged if you all haven't. It's pretty good.
Everyone has.
Anyone
who has ever heard of Dragon Ball Z...
That's why I said if you haven't.
Anyone who has ever heard of Dragon Ball Z has heard of Team 4-Star. It's like anyone who's ever heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
Okay, well, never mind, everyone. Don't check it out because you already know of it.
Yeah. You've already seen everything they've done.
But yeah, any other statements before we wrap this up, gentlemen? Anything you would like to see in any kind of continuation, whether it's like canon or not? They could easily do like the movies where they're not canon, like Trio Might or something.
Yeah, definitely more shirtless scenes.
I don't know if there is enough room in the world for more shirtless characters on Dragon Ball.
I'd at least like to see them try. As long as they put the effort in there.
I don't know how many there were in Battle of the Gods either, so you might get your wish.
Yeah, all right, well.
We'll see.
There you go, everybody. More shirtless scenes in any kind of Dragon Ball Z continuation. Yeah.
I guess that means it's over now.
All right, so until next, everybody, cheers.